I'm with Carolyn and Moises Ruiz. We're partners missionaries to Mexico. Thanks for coming in today. I think the last time you folks were in this room with me was just before you were off on your first deployment to Mexico with World Partners. So what was it like returning to ministry in Mexico after several years of absence there?
So it's been exciting. It's been 2.5 years, almost 2.5 years of joy, visiting the pastors and getting to know them, and also just to see the hunger that they have for the Word of God.
Tell me a little bit about the team that you're working with.
Well, we work with Dan and Anne Marie Chapel, and they've been in Mexico serving for about 12 years. And they've been in Puebla for about, I think it's 9 years now. And Dan leads the Mexico team. And then Phil and Carolyn English were able to join us 2 years ago this August. And they've been spending most of these 2 years learning Spanish and adjusting to culture. But Phil has been able to join Moises and Dan as they travel to their teaching classes, and he's starting to participate in, he taught one class. And my role more in the team is to take care of any details for teams that come from Canada to help with construction or that type of thing. And also I try to look after the administrative details for the team.
So how often do you connect then as a team?
We meet at least once a month as a team for a meeting to share concerns within the ministry, also to just share prayer concerns for each other, and usually to try to have a bit of a social time as well.
So what are some of the joys and frustrations that you've experienced in this first stage of the time in Mexico?
It's been a joy to see the pastors, the hunger they have to be trained. Because most of them have no biblical training at all. Some of them don't even have a public school finished. So their educational level is very low. And because of that, it's like they weren't able to go to a Bible school or any other place like that. So with the material that we are using, it's called Semillas, and it's called Seminary and Ministries for those that are called to serve. That's the translation for that word. And it's almost like bringing a school to your location, because we bring the textbooks for the pastors. They work on the textbooks daily. They meet weekly. It's only a few times when some of them won't finish a lesson, but it's always everybody has their lesson finished, and the time together is always a joy to see everybody participating as well. Some of the frustrations would be more like dealing with the distances and traffic in a big city. If you have to go to the bank or places where sometimes it takes a long time to get things done because of the corruption that seems to be within the system in Mexico.
So how would you say the church is doing in Mexico? And
they seem to be thriving in their little towns, and they are impacting the community with the gospel of Christ. And I've had stories and met people from those towns that came to know Christ because of the ministry of those pastors in those areas. So they have challenges, but they also they're really impacting the communities, and very committed to serve the Lord.
And it's important for them to know, and through learning in this material, the doctrines and the theology, because there's lots of false doctrines as well. The prosperity gospel is quite strong, and people are drawn to that. So there has been difficulty with that in the area that Moises is working in as well.
Can you tell me a story about a church or maybe a leader that you've been journeying with, mentoring?
There's one group especially, and it's a town called Pesmata. And it's a town that is about 5.5 hours away from Mexico City. And that's a group that we don't visit very often. We try because it is quite a distance, and also the road, about an hour and a half before you get to that town. It is a very rough road to get there. But Miguel is from that town. Miguel is a tutor, and he is the pastor of that church in that town. And Miguel started training with our group in Zacapuaxtla on the Saturday mornings. He used to come to that teaching group, and he was being the tutor. He was learning, watching me how I was leading the class, and eventually he was leading the class. But at the same time, he had a group in his own town. I had never been there, but he was doing his own group in his own town with about 9 people. So he was being trained as a tutor with us in Zacapuaxtla, but then he was doing leading his own group in his own church. And even more exciting, just a few months after that, they were working already probably on book number 3. And he talked to me and he said, I have 3 new people from my church that they want to start, but it's too late for them to join a group. And so he decided to start a new group. So he appointed one of his students from his class. His name is Ivan, and Ivan has already served in his church, sometimes leading worship and preaching as well. So Miguel decided to appoint Ivan as the new tutor for that new group. Miguel has been modeling how to be a tutor for Ivan, and now Ivan is being the tutor of a new group, and they're working already on book number 2. So that is exciting to see as we think about disciples who make disciples. That is happening in that little town.
You folks are on a home ministry assignment for a while. What are some of your objectives?
We look forward to visiting our supporting churches, and a number of them, some of them even came on after we were already on the field. So we're just in the beginning stages of making relationships with EMCC churches. So we're looking forward to investing in those relationships, as well as hopefully touching base with our individual supporters as well. We're taking the Way of Jesus training next week at Emmanuel Bible College, and look forward to that. And then just investing in the lives of our children as well while we're here. So family time. Support-wise, I think we're at about 90%. So we are seeking a bit of support, but we're not in panic mode about that.
So when do you return to Mexico again?
About mid-October, we'll be back in Mexico. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming in today.